and welcome to this Tango video tutorial about technique of Ochos and pivots. We will share with you an exercise how we can take this kind of practice embrace and we give an impulse to create the torsion and the rotation of the pelvis. And we will see how this can be easier if we also have it combined with a little bit of relaxation and expansion. We suppose you already have had your first classes of tango, and we recommend to watch first the video about how to keep the frame with the statua. In the statua, we kept the frame by expanding outward and inward, but staying on the same imaginary canvas. Today, we take this kind of embrace, and if she's not resisting, I'm moving a little bit the hand forward or moving a little bit back. I'm not pushing so much that it's really changing a lot, and I'm never pulling that much either. So even when I'm talking of pushing and pulling, it just means a little bit. And if she doesn't resist, don't resist, it will be 5 centimeters. If we talk of push and pull, we mean you should push and pull from your center. So it's never a push that is very much just from the wrist. It's more from the shoulder blade going through the elbow to the wrist and then a touch where we have the contact with the hand and we give there. The first exercise to take this symmetric embrace and not to move. So I push very slightly, for example now on the left side. On the right, I'm constant. I pull very slightly on the left side. On the right, I'm constant. On the other side as well, I push very slightly, I pull very slightly. Now I can start to do the same with both going in opposite directions. So with one side, I push slightly, with the other, I pull slightly. Afterwards, it will create something with the body of my partner. Now it's the first part of the exercise where we don't want to move yet. Or the opposite, I push very slightly with my right and I pull very slightly with my left. Change the role. So you start on one side, keeping the other one straight. And also, when you stand, feel that you're not completely relaxed, but you activate. You have the position, the posture for dance. So you are activated. Okay. As before, in the other exercise of the statua, do it gradually and keep it for a couple of seconds and then release it again. Release. The muscle tone can be very well connected with releasing the breath as well. Okay, once you got familiar with that, now we want to create a torsion. So I start doing a small apertura step, so to the side, and I start to push a little bit, holding constant on the other side. You see her pelvis is rotating until here, then I do the opposite. And she's coming there. The wrists are not moving a lot. They are moving maybe 2 centimeters, but we don't want to move them 20 centimeters or even more. In the first exploration of this, it can be a very slow movement, a very conscious movement. Afterwards, once you hold it, that it's okay now until here, and then you start to give the opposite. Once you got it, you can feel how can I give one that it's a little bit more continuous. Also, you see we are relaxing this. This will make it much easier than to be constantly on one and have it very slow. This is a very physical way of doing it. Also helps to understand the body mechanics, but once you have it in a little bit bouncing energy. So we have and yes, and let's do the other side. So we go apertura to the right for the leaders, left for the follower. First to this side, and to the other, and a little bit more bouncy. Druk, druk, druk. Yes. You can also change role. Then you see how difficult it is as a leader for that. Okay, druk, and druk, and druk, and druk, and a lip. And 1 and 2, 1 and 2. I work with my diagonal abdominal muscles, the obliques. So when I have this impulse, for example, to push and pull, it's here that I elongate this part, or that I shorten it and elongate it on the other side. I like to think as a reference point my elbow and my last rib. And here I take this impulse and I bring it in. And I feel a little pressure here, but it's myself who's moving and creating that movement. Next exercise, I don't push or pull, I'm just there. And Iris is doing it by herself. So I feel, okay, this is the amount of pressure that she needs in order to provoke. And she's exploring to make it more elastic, the movement. Okay, whenever she feels, she can change the side. Okay, I'm being there. If I'm mean and I stop being helpful here, I'm helpful by being stable. I'm also not using a lot of muscle tone, but I'm stable. So she can use me, and this is what we want to find afterwards for the dance. What is the level where we can be stable and clear, but still without using a lot of tension. Let's go to the embrace. It's usually easier to start with the forward Ocho. So I create a little bit of pressure on this side, and I keep my other side constant. And there I have a step, and I do the opposite. I have a little bit of pull, and we create this. We go. Once we feel how it works, we can have it more fluid and more continuous. I would like you to play with moments that are stretched and very slow, and moments that are more fluid and where it's more flowy and continuous. Then change the side. To create the backward Ocho from the open side, you have to pull a little bit. Remember again, I'm never pulling in the way that I would actually move her hand. It's just like I'm waiting for her to react, and this one is going in. For the idea of the Ocho, it's a pivot and a step. Now back, before it was forward. Afterwards, we might also want to focus on how we lead the projection, and that, for the moment, just take time for the pivot and do the projection as late as possible, and only when you feel that your pelvis has arrived to the position. Maybe later you will start to project when your pelvis is not yet perpendicular, but on the way to arrive that you start already to project, and your pelvis will be perpendicular in the moment when you do the Ocho. Now, I would like you to ask, pivot even more, that you really feel, okay, this is the position, and then project. So you wait, and then you go. Again, we can have a little bit of relaxation, exhaling, and growing for the step. Change the direction, and let's have a look like this. So we had back, Also, as a follower, take your partner with you. You move, but feel that how your partner is coming with you. Okay, take a break. Release your arms. Usually when you learn this technique, you're using too much tension at the beginning. But it's okay, because we want to establish a continuous way of how we touch each other. Once you found this continuity, you can release muscle tone or reduce muscle tone and have it really with, on a scale of 1 to 10, maybe 1.5, 2. Like, so really not a lot, and you have that. It's important that you communicate with your partner that there's a little bit of pivot, and it could also stop here. Could also be here, could also be there, and could be finished. If you're practicing Ochos, you start first with a full turn. Once it works, then you can say, okay, let's also have the continuous spectrum and have just a little bit. Maybe, for example, for another movement, I want to lead a forward Ocho then from this part, so I just prepared the first part, and then I will lead something else. Or for an exit position, if I continue with an Ocho, I want a full Ocho. If I want to go for a cross, I want a diagonal position that from here we go there. And to be able to communicate this continuously helps a lot afterwards to enjoy the dance, or back, and we had fallen back, or parallel to the wall, and we have this kind of movement. That was a lot of technical details. Experiment with it. Once you got it, make it easy and go back to the dancing and have Ochos from the apertura, face your partner, continue with the caminata. From the apertura, we have the forward Ochos. We can play with paradas, parada from the forward Ocho. We can play paradas from the backward Ocho, Ocho, parada from the backward Ocho, change. And you have this exit with half turn, or exit with more Ochos. If you need more help with the paradas, check out the videos about paradas, all on this channel.